Hello, everybody, and welcome to the PowerCast, the Team Powerhouse, Erik and Dave. Glad to be here with you. Glad to be with you guys here today live on Tuesday night with Erik and Dave on the PowerCast. It is 5 o'clock p.m. Thank you so much for joining us in advance today. The phones have been going off left and right. Got me all for-puts over here. So
For-puts?
For-puts.
I don't know what that is. So.
Glad to be back in the saddle together over here. Last week I was away bringing Danny to school. We had a podcast for you guys.
With Val.
Pre-recorded with Valerie, the infamous and the beautiful, who did an amazing job. I couldn't believe, although I can believe, how many views we did have on the show. It was quite a miraculous.
I learned a lot.
Yeah.
One of the things I learned is I'm not getting a pedicure.
Definitely something to check out. But before we get started, everybody, make sure to go to our social media outlets. You can find us on YouTube. Go to Team Powerhouse Real Estate. Hit subscribe, please, over there. Go to Instagram. Go to Facebook. Go to TikTok. Go to Twitch. Go to...
I don't know.
Hold on a second. You know, we're on Anchor. We're on Apple Podcasts. We're on Spotify.
Are you going to plug...
Are you
going to plug Danny's podcast or no?
You know, so I'm happy you asked. Danny actually and his buddies, CJ and Luke, his roommates. So Danny, CJ, and Luke just started a podcast, which is on Anchor. They just did their first episode. I don't think they dropped it yet. It's on It's the 504 podcast. They're calling it the 504.
504, is that the area code for...
I honestly am not even sure, but it could be the area code of Boca. So at Lynn University, a new podcast, the 504 podcast, but Luke, CJ, and Daniel, or CJ, Daniel, and Luke, however you want to put it together. Very exciting for them, and they'll probably drop that soon. So Erik and I have lots to talk about with you. The market has been kind of crazy.
What was the number of the podcast?
The 504 podcast?
Nope.
It's on Anchor.
561.
So maybe Danny and Luke and CJ can help me out.
Maybe they're in room 504 at their dorm.
That is the room number.
504.
All right, so a couple of things to talk about. Okay, so we talked about Val. She was in the show last week. We got CJ, Danny, and Luke who did a podcast on the 504.
So if anything is said on that podcast that's inappropriate,
actually, I did,
all emails can go to david.lemel@gmail.com.
Actually, I did listen to the podcast. I got to preview it.
Okay.
They did a pretty good job, for the first time doing it. I don't know if they have anything scripted written down to ask questions. They were all over the place. They talk a lot about sports. They talk a lot about the club, the Sway nightclub they go to. And by the way, while I was in Boca, I was in a nightclub. Compliments of our friend Alex Gettleman, Craig, CJ's dad, and myself. We went out. Alex took us all out, let's just say, for dinner and a nightclub night that I've never been to before. I was in a nightclub with, 1,000 people.
Kids. All of them younger than you?
Yeah. Okay. All the kids between the ages of, I'm going to say, 21 and who knows, because, getting into these clubs. And the atmosphere is kind of wild and crazy. It's slightly like got the smoke coming to the ceilings, the DJ kicking the music. There was guys behind the bar blowing fire. It was a pretty intense evening with girls coming through with the shots, which was...
free shots?
Nothing was free. Everything was paid for by dads of the crew. But we had a good time. And was a memory we will not forget. That is for sure. But here we are talking about the club scene in Boca at Sway Nightclub. And by the way, and just so you know, Danny's roommate Luke is the king of Sway, is his nickname.
Okay.
Pretty interesting stuff.
Because he drinks a lot and he sways back and forth?
Yeah. They walked in the club, okay, and so we got Craig and Donna, CJ's parents, myself and Alex Gettleman. We're in the club, and up come these girls. In come these girls in these, I'll call it red bikinis or outfits, with these signs saying, "Welcome back." Welcome back, Danny, CJ, and Luke. And I'm thinking to myself...
So they're regulars. They have, gold cards.
How often do these guys go to the club over here? It was very interesting. But anyways, if your kid's in college and there's a nightclub that they go to and you haven't been there before, you might want to check it out. just to see what's going on in the party scene at your son or daughter's school.
So you went with Danny.
Went with Danny. Yep.
Do they have loyalty points then?
I think they have some kind of loyalty something because they were treated like as if they were like superstars there, and so were we actually. Again, to be
I
fair,
wonder what the real estate market is down there.
the market down there is hot, hot, hot. All right, so going into what's going on hot, hot, hot. Speaking of that, the real estate market's been hot, 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 and this spring summer has been. Then I think the buyers unleashed breaking records on what sold, how much it sold for, how many homes hit the market, and Eric and I go over some statistics.
When it's said and done, I'd like to see what the numbers were this year versus last year.
Yeah.
So I'm based on what I was saying. I mean, like it's an extremely busy market, but I don't know that it compares to how busy last year was. So when all is said and done, the number of homes that were sold last year may be higher than this year. I don't know. Last year's biggest obstacle was the inventory.
I think that because the inventory was such a problem, I think we had less home sales that last year versus this year so far to date. And in the price range that these homes sold and how many they sold is staggering. I did a quick little scenario over here, review of spring summer. So from between January 1st, actually I went back to January, to be fair. January till today, August 23rd, okay, in New Haven County alone. New Haven County consists of 32 towns, by the way, in case you were wondering. And between the prices...
One of these days I'm gonna ask you to name those 32 towns.
And one of those days I'm probably going to say, I'm not so sure.
He's gonna get through like 18.
If I can get 18, I'd be impressed, actually. No, but so anyway, actually, we'll do that one day. That'll be part of our trivia game.
Okay.
All right. So in New Haven County, since January 1st, which goes back into actually winter, spring, and summer.
January's in winter?
I think January is considered winter to me, for sure. Oh, sure. When does winter start? Like December something?
No. I mean, seasonally, yeah, it's absolutely winter. But spring market starts so early that sometimes...
That is true.
You know?
Spring markets
It's
are
like
January 15th.
everybody's trying to get a jump on the spring market, and it's like January is all of a sudden becomes spring market.
That's a very good point. Eric is very, very on point with that information. I like that, man. That's a good point. So spring market does open up January 15th, even though it's the winter time, right?
Yep.
Well said. So what we had was in the 32 towns in New Haven County, again, between $200,000 and $300,000. Between January 1st to today, we had 1,780 homes, 1,780 homes sold in New Haven County between 200 and 300,000.
And that's a very limited price range.
That's a very
200
limited,
to 300,000.
very small price range. You're a beginner, first-time buyer. Between $301,000 and $400,000, we had 1,381 homes sold. Between $401,000 to $500,000, 764 homes sold. Now it's interesting how these numbers are supposed to change, right? Between 501 and 600,000, we had 426 homes sold,
That's understandable.
right? As it's kind of getting up the price of less homes. Between 601 and 700, 249 homes. Between 701,000
No,
and
700,000, 800,000.
well, okay, 700 to 800,000, 148 homes. 800 to 986 homes. 900 to 1 million, 49 homes sold. That's a lot of homes.
That was one of those.
That's
I bought my house and... Oh, no, wait. No, that wasn't me.
Well, now that Eric's letting you guys all know about his $1 million home that he just
So,
purchased,
1 million to 2 million, 108 houses.
108 homes sold.
And that's New Haven County.
New Haven County. That's a lot of actually homes, and that actually was a shocking number.
But that's where we're talking about some of the towns that are actually in New Haven County.
Yes.
Because I guess to your layperson, your regular person on the street,
Yes.
they wouldn't imagine that there were that many homes in the New Haven County at that price range.
I would agree with you 100%. As a matter of fact,
I'm a realtor, and I find it hard to.
between $900 and $2 million, we're talking about 160 homes that sold.
Yeah.
That's pretty amazing. And that just shows the values that have gone up in the last 2 years. Okay? These properties were probably all 25 to 30% higher sales than they would have been pre-COVID.
Pre-COVID.
And not to mention, if you think about the interest rates that have jumped up in the last 6 months to a year, right? And this many homes have sold. So the interest rates haven't even affected so much so in the higher end price range, I would say.
Right.
Is that fair? Pretty much. So that's 4,991 homes sold New Haven County between January to today, August 23rd. That's pretty amazing. But I'll tell you what I think.
I don't know if 1 million to 2 million. I'd be interested in knowing. I mean, how many of those are actually financed or purchased cash?
It's very commonly that price range is a lot of cash involved.
Yeah, 'cause that would be, and I don't know what the new limit is on jumbo loans, but
Right.
that's easily jumbo loans.
Oh, for sure.
You know, and those mortgages are what, 10,000, 15,000 a month?
Easily. More than that. Yeah, definitely. Not to mention the taxes. I was just looking last night with a client. They're looking between $1 and $2 million for a house on the water, right? And the taxes range between in Milford at 15,000 down towards Madison in the $25,000 ballpark, which was in Branford, Madison. 25. I think Branford actually was 25,000 for about $1.5 million on a house on the water. That didn't include the flood insurance, et cetera, et cetera. Pretty amazing stuff as well.
At least you got someplace to party when summer comes around.
Exactly right. Beautiful views, beautiful situation.
Just show up at the door with a towel over your shoulder, going.
And a bottle of Tito's maybe or something.
Yeah.
So that's pretty wild numbers over there. So it's a very, very strong market in New Haven County with perspective to price ranges. How many homes have sold in the last, how many days
since January 1st?
Yeah, 231 days.
Yeah,
something
like that.
All right. New Haven County, by the way, Eric talked about earlier with me before we started going live, there are homes that are still sitting in the market in the opposite end of the world where how many homes have been sitting in the market, Eric, between the last 30 days or last 60 days or 90 days that have been sitting in the market? There's definitely quite a few homes that have been sitting there. And with that being said, do you want to throw some numbers around maybe?
No.
No,
I'm not prepared for that, Dave.
That's fantastic.
I did. Let me see if I can. The thing I love about MLS is you can pull up recent searches.
Yes.
And see what I just don't see what that recent search was. But no, one of the things that we checked on, because Dave was going with the houses that have closed in the recent, since January.
Yeah.
Obviously, some of the folks that we're working with, we may not be able to get that house that just opens up day one and get it day two, day three, day four.
Right.
Sometimes we have to pursue that house that's been around in the market for a while. So I actually pulled up, obviously we're not going to mention any of the listings, but I was able to find, how many was it? Do you remember the number? Because the search is not pulling it up, but there was houses over 100 days on the market.
Yes.
Over 100 days in the market, and it was like 300.
Yeah, I actually pulled up a statistic just between 200,000 and 500,000 in New Haven County. Homes in the market over 100 days are 61.
In just New Haven County.
New Haven County in the last. Let me just make sure I double check with that.
There's some bargains out there.
There are some bargains. There are also some homes that are way overpriced.
So I was just going to ask you, what's your opinion on what the reason for a house being on the market for 100 days?
So when we look at properties, or a buyer looks at a property in the market, the biggest things is how you present your home for sale. The photos of your house need to be clean. Your room needs to be clean. Your kitchen needs to be clean. And if you look at these houses that are on the market as long as they are, first of all, I'm going to give the realtor the first smack. Because a realtor to go into a house and have photos taken of a property that looks like dog crap is just a sentiment as to who they are as an agent selling that property. If a seller is not motivated enough to clean their house, in my opinion, if a seller's not motivated enough to clean their house before photos are taken, and when the house goes to market,
I fault the agents on that.
For sure.
The agents are not giving the sellers guidance on what they need to do to get the house sold. Now, I get it. Sometimes there are sellers who are adamant they're not doing this, they're not doing that, You and I have both confronted, those types of folks, and we're
And-
like, okay.
Yeah, but
But I won't be held responsible for what doesn't happen with your house because of,
right.
A or B.
To go deeper in that, I won't have photos taken of the house. I will not, because the amount of money we spend on photo and video is so much, because we want to invest in you, our client. I will not allow the photos to get taken because it looks like crap and it reflects on us. We as agents who present these properties to sell, our job in the end of the day is to make you as much money as possible to sell your house. If you don't allow us to do that, then why are we there? Why are we even there?
So I pulled it up. 836 houses in the entire state of Connecticut.
How many?
836 that are currently on the market that have been on the market for over 100 days.
That's crazy. How many towns is that, by the way? Do you go to the list?
That's just the state. That's just the state. So if I click on New Haven County, that brings it down to 151.
So
151. Good run, by the way.
Good one.
It's a little flammable, but it's good.
So on the 151, how many towns, if you go to the list, does it show the results? Oh, 151 you said. No, towns.
151. Well, it lists the New Haven towns,
Right.
the cities. So
Right. So there are definitely homes that are out there that have been on the market for a while. Most likely, if you look at those houses on the computer, they look like crap, and that's part of the problem. So why bother? I mean, as an agent, I would take the house off the market and say, you know what? I don't want this because this is my reputation over here. And if you as a seller are not willing or wanting to put that kind of effort in your house, then why are we doing
Well,
this?
some of these are exorbitant price ranges also. So I
True.
didn't go in with a price range.
Okay, that's
So
fair.
if I went in 500K and down.
I bet you majority is going to be in that lower end price range. That's a guess.
75.
half.
75 of those, half of those are below 500K.
Now, if you go into those, look at those photos of those properties, I bet you the property photos don't look so great. And it
Well,
makes
it's either that or they're probably,
Very
a
challenged.
little bit overpriced.
wait, much more of a price. So let's go back to pricing. When it comes to pricing your house, pricing is everything. Price it correctly. Let the buyers dictate the market. A buyer will always show you value if your house is looking correctly, feels good, looks good. When they walk through, they go, I want it. And they make every effort to take your house and buy it from you. Speaking of that, we listed a property recently in Naugatuck, a condo, okay? This great condo on 97 Country Hill. Our clients were tremendous about getting their property ready. We put the house in the market, the condo in the market. We had, I think, 18 offers or so in about 48 hours. I mean, that's
How
pretty
many?
amazing. 18 offers?
18 offers?
Not so bad, right? I mean, obviously it's not the 40 offers.
That's
that we-
higher than I would have thought it would have been.
Yeah. And we had a cash offer closing in 2 weeks, which is pretty cool. We're closing on that property, knock on wood, on Tuesday. Congratulations to my clients. We'll keep their names
Well, that's the
clean.
single biggest, and I don't know the number of offers, so when you're on the buyer side, you don't know how many offers the other side have.
True.
So, I think it would be more of a feeling that you get that, and sometimes the agent will tell you, hey, listen, we had this many offers, and we decided to go with another offer when they
Right.
don't end up going with yours. So at the peak of last year, it felt like you were competing with 30, 40 offers.
100% true.
And this year, and I think the interest rates are kind of
Played a role.
playing a role in that you don't have the 30, you're not competing against 30, 40 people anymore.
Right.
You're competing about 10 to 15 now.
I would say to you, to be fair, what you're saying, maybe that kind of change came June. I think before June up until May, it was many more offers in the market. This past summer, things slow down in the summertime. You have less buyers shopping, right? People on
Well, you have
vacations.
vacations and taking their kids to school.
Yeah.
Your agent's on vacation, so you can't show them anything.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome. Speaking of that, let's go to.
This house is nice.
Yeah, look at a nice house. We want to tell you about a new listing that's coming to the market. One of our newest and brightest realtors. Her name is Jamie Franco. Jamie is killing it. I'm so proud of her. Doing an amazing job. She's got a property coming to the market in North Haven. Now, anybody you know looking in the market for North Haven, definitely check this property out. This property is on 30 MacArthur in North Haven, 30 MacArthur Drive. It's on coming soon at this moment. It'll come on the market on the 27th, which is going to be in about 4 days. This property's got 4 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms. It's been renovated. It's got, and I've been in this house, you walk into the family room, nice sized family room, opens up to the left, can go to the bedrooms. You got 2 bedrooms, go straight ahead, walks into this beautiful open concept kitchen, which overlooks a gorgeous dining room.
What's this guy doing?
What you talking about Jamie's house?
I know. I may have clients for this house. You're making it difficult for my folks to get the house.
Well,
As soon as you told me about it, I pulled it up. I was like, ooh, this is nice.
it's a nice house.
So I sent it to my folks.
They
you
like
know?
the house.
And, well, I haven't heard back yet, but I know they're going to like it. And it's a good location for what they're looking for. But now Dave's adding the competition. Thank you.
We need to, of course, get as much money for this house as
Of
possible
course.
for Jamie.
I kid.
But at the
I
same
kid.
time, I'm sure your clients are ready to rock and roll because it's a great house. So you've got 2 bedrooms downstairs, 2 bedrooms upstairs, and a finished basement. It's got a great backyard. It's got a pool. It's got a deck. And in the kitchen area, got a question? Oh.
Does it have a deck pool?
It's got a deck pool, pool deck. It's fenced-in yard, I believe, from memory. And it's priced at $325,000, which in North Haven is a steal. Probably going to be a potential bidding war. And make sure you bring your best agent and mortgage broker. I would like to say Michael Cristoforo from Guaranteed Rate. Make sure you come ready to play ball because it's not a house you want to lose. They actually have solar panels on this house here.
They do. I saw that.
And the solar panels, their electricity bill is so reasonable. And we talk about solar panels. We're actually going to have a guy on the show with solar panels, which I'm excited to have over the
Yeah, I
next
heard
couple
that
weeks.
was in the works.
Yeah. His name is Tom. I won't tell you more than that because I don't want to kind of get it out there yet. But he's going to go over a company that is doing amazing jobs on solar panels, residential and commercial, saving tremendous money to clients, and probably has the best pricing around, which is super huge. That being said, all right, going back to the market and what's coming. So the market coming now, we're going to come into September now. And in September to December, we find that you have the most serious buyers shopping.
Why is that?
Because if someone's shopping in the fall-winter market, that means they really want to buy.
Why?
Because it's not the beautiful, warm weather time of the year. And that means that people are very serious. That's typically what the most serious buyers are shopping September to December. And the most serious sellers are selling September to December. Most of the people who are selling have to sell. And most of the people buying have to buy. As a matter of fact, I just spoke to a woman today. She called up and said, hey, listen, I have to buy a house and I need to close before October 31st. My daughter, she's in a rent. Her lease is up. I need to buy in the next 30 to 45 days. And then, of course, they're hooked up to Mike. And Mike put her into this program called Power Boost. Guaranteed Rate has a great program called Power Boost, which gets you able to close your house between 2 and 3 weeks as fast as that. Jonathan, any questions out there from anybody on Facebook, Instagram, etc. while we're live on the show
That's
over
like
here?
2 weeks, 3 weeks. That's like cash close.
It actually makes you a cash buyer, almost a cash buyer.
That'll just say wonky.
It is actually fairly wonky. Yeah, definitely wonky. No. So wonky is a great word I've been using all the time. Val loves the word wonky.
Well, I think, well, in
Eric
the,
loves the
in
word
the first
wonky.
episode
Yeah.
that we recorded,
Yes.
that somehow the file got corrupted,
Yes.
That was wonky.
that was, it was wonky. You used it like 7 times.
Yeah.
But you limited your use in the second one.
Because what happened? So what happened in the last show? To be fair to Val, we had tape recorded this great episode, pre-recorded, and unfortunately there was a complete catastrophe, and the show got deleted before it got saved, which we had to sit down again and do another pre-recorded podcast, and the one you saw, which actually came out great. Val was very concerned that she was not, doing as well of a good job, but it was.
Oh, she did great.
She did great. And I watched the show 2-3 times afterwards. I always watch the shows after we have them live. Why? Because I learn a lot from what we do and how we do things, obviously, first and foremost. And also to see the people who were on the show, how well they did. Because most people in the show always feel like they didn't do as well as they think that they did.
Yeah, Dave's always given me feedback that I should have been more involved.
Yeah.
I wasn't sitting up straight.
Let me just sit up straight over here as we're
Yeah,
talking.
okay.
So this market coming up in September is going to be a hot market. As a matter of fact, I personally can
So
tell
one thing you didn't mention, and it's kind of, so I've always been of the mindset that folks that are searching in September, October, November, December, they're kind of looking for that house that they probably would have paid a higher premium for in May, June, July, and August because of the preceding months going into the school year. That you know how people want to get into
Yeah.
they want to get into a house before the school year so that the kids are already in the school system and yada yada, right?
Absolutely.
And then they're like, okay, so, and I'll use an arbitrary number, but I'm buying a $400,000 house and it's going to cost me $425 because of this market, right?
Yes.
But maybe September to December,
Yep.
maybe it's not 425, maybe it's 410, 415, because there isn't this level of competition with all these families trying to get their kids into that school system. So it's smart shopping as well.
I will agree with you
Oh, there's a
to
first.
some degree on that kind of a situation here because in a regular market outside of where we are today, yeah, things tend to kind of be less hot and less buyer shopping, right? So therefore, sellers tend to drop their prices a little bit, but then it brings more attraction to more buyers. But in a market like this, where the inventory is so nil, that we get. I mean, Eric, do me a favor if you can, while you're on the computer. Can you pull up to see right now how many homes are in the market for sale in New Haven County, and let's use your numbers between 200 and 400,000, a first-time buyer shopping, right? Now, my guess, New Haven County, it's going to be the ballpark of maybe, I don't know, 100 or less.
414.
Are there really?
Well, New Haven County.
Okay.
So
So actually at 32 towns, 400 and something. So you're talking about 10 homes per town roughly?
15, yeah.
Okay, that's actually that's a lot of homes compared to what we had before.
Yeah, but it's funny because I was going through something similar to that earlier, and with some of the towns. So just to use an example, Woodbridge
Yep.
and Wolcott.
Well, first of all, we have to change the price range for Woodbridge.
No, we're still in that 200 to 400, but
There's no Woodbridge homes for
no, I know, but I'm
Yeah.
just saying, so there's one,
Is there? Yeah.
so, but then you jump to Wolcott, and there's 19, I think it was, yeah, 19. So it's it's a huge difference.
Yes.
So the New Haven County, being specific with New Haven County, you're going to have towns with 2, and you're going to have towns with 22.
That is for sure.
So
I definitely will say to you that the market coming in this upcoming fall, I'll call it fall for now, it's almost like does a winter actually even happen? It's a weird, our seasons are all screwed up, right? But the point is between September and December, the market is going to start bringing more homes to the market. I think a lot of people in a way getting their houses ready over the summer, and I think they're going to see a surplus of homes come to market. Now, how many homes does that mean compared to how many buyers are still shopping? That's going to be very interesting to find out. I have myself right now 4 homes that are being worked on that are coming to market in September of clients that are, I said, get ready for this September season because the market is going to be hot. And they're all kind of getting themselves ready. I have a house in New Britain that's supposed to come on the market next week. They've been working on for the last probably 5 weeks, 6 weeks on this house. They went through the Revitalize program. By the way, again, I can't talk enough about the Revitalize program. If you haven't heard about it yet, Coldwell Banker has one of the most electrifying, hottest, most amazing opportunities for you as a seller to get your house all fixed up using just the equity in your house, no money out of pocket. It is something that is mind-blowing to me. The amount of people that I've been able to help sell their homes for so much more money. I mean, they'll put in $50,000 into this house to get $100,000 out. Mm-hmm. Not to mention selling their houses. They're putting $25,000, get $50,000 more. And the biggest thing is that these houses couldn't sell before because of the way the condition of the house was. Was I talking? Who was I
they
talking
would have
to?
sold. They probably would have sold,
The-
but they probably would not have commanded the money that they got.
Not only not commanded, but they may not have qualified for FHA, VA,
Well, that's the other
CHAFA,
thing,
right?
is you're increasing the buyer pool by qualifying for more types of loans.
I pulled up to this house, and the house on the outside was all peeling paint. And I said, oh, my God, we have a problem here because this house isn't going to sell.
And it's a simple fix.
It's a simple fix.
It's a simple fix.
It's-
That you've got somebody who's FHA, but that's one of those situations where I almost fault the agent again, because the agent, could have told them, listen, you get rid of this chipping paint, which is, I saw a house the other day, I think it was in Naugatuck.
Yep.
And it had some chipping paint, and my buyer's FHA, and I told him, I said, listen, this is easy stuff.
Right.
I've actually, I don't know if it was you or somebody was telling me once that their buyers had actually gone to the house.
Yes.
To do the work.
Right.
To get that done.
That was a different
before
market.
the appraiser
Right.
came in.
That was a different market. That's when the buyers were so desperate for the house and the sellers sat
Right.
back on their tush and they didn't care enough about getting their house fixed. I said, do you want to do it? You fix it yourself. That was a different market. Today, we are in a complete different market where the buyers are like, listen, I'll paint your house. I'll water your plants. Just pick my offer.
Right.
So much as the fact where, actually, I'm sorry. That's a market more like today. I was confusing myself. I know what I said, but back in the day, the sellers were, will do anything for it because they needed buyers. And now today, the buyers will do anything to
Yeah,
do with the
today's
house.
sellers are like, you want my house? Yeah, show me.
Right, show me the money.
Come paint my house.
Come paint my house. Well, maybe not the whole house, but a couple of things. But anyway, this house in New Britain, they did a complete reno. They did a great job. I'm very proud of them and very excited for them. Hopefully get photos this week done and then on the market next week, et cetera, et cetera.
It's a nice place.
All right, so going into just a whole kind of roll
saw
of the
this
whole
house.
thing we talked about Val, who was a great job she did last week. We talked about Danny, CJ, and Luke with their podcast in the 504. The 504 podcast, just kind of rehashing what we talked about
Well,
today.
get clarification on what the 504 is.
If Danny was available right now, I would probably say to him, if he was paying attention to the podcast right now,
Well, he's probably at that club.
he's at the club. Hold on a
know,
second.
they're getting
Oh, no. Hold on.
signs up that
No, it's
says
called the 504 Podcast. It is right here. The 504 Pod. A podcast on Anchor. And again, I don't think they dropped it yet. I think they just kind of been working on it a little bit, but check them out. Go on Instagram and look for, what is this Instagram handle actually? He has a new one they opened up while I'm getting my son and his crew some looks over here. It's called the 504 Pod. And that's their new and exciting podcast to be watching on Instagram. I think they're going to put on Instagram and maybe a couple other places as well. All right.
I'll be listening out for that one.
I hope they're listening. Hope you're listening and watching. And we probably had a little bit, not as exciting a show for you tonight, but hopefully you enjoyed. Anyway, we're going to go to the next part of our show. It is the spinning wheel for a tumbler.
Wait, do we have anything set up for next week or no? Do we have a guest set up?
Let's see who the guest is for
Open
next
the
week.
calendar.
Let me just check that out for us. I
So in
definitely,
case you couldn't tell, this week is impromptu because it's only Dave and I.
yes. We had a guest that was supposed to be here but didn't make it last minute, and we had to kind of, take it over and do our thing, which is why we're a little bit outside the box.
Yeah, I know. We were talking real estate.
A real estate podcast with real estate. There's a potential guest for next week. I don't want to say it yet because
But we do have somebody lined up.
We do
Okay, good.
have somebody lined up.
Because this last minute thought process of trying to come up with
Yeah,
material is
and I
just
apologize for it. Doesn't look.
painful.
It could be a little wonky.
That's the third one you got in.
All right, let's go to the spinning wheel for a free tumbler for you guys for watching us every week. And let's see who the winner's going to be. And the winner is... Tell them what they won, Eric.
Sherwood Inspection.
Sherwood Inspection IG. Oh, Instagram. Congratulations, Sherwood Inspection. Thank you so much for joining us on Instagram. Please reach out to us so we can get you a free Team Powerhouse tumbler.
Tumblr.
Thank you guys again for watching us every week. We appreciate you. We love you. And we cannot wait to see you next week with a better and more exciting show to watch. Talk to you soon.
I thought it was plenty exciting.
It was exciting. It was informative, but,
And it was real estate.
and it was real estate. We'll talk to you guys later.